آله وأصحابه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم اجعل أعمالنا خالصة لوجهك ولا تجعل فيها حظا لغيرك. وصل اللهم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. How's everyone today? Yeah. We continue with Surah Al-Mu'minun Bismillah Ta'ala. We ended on verse number 92. I'll just read a couple of verses and continue. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل من بيده ملكوت كل شيء وهو يجير ولا يجار عليه إن كنتم تعلمون سيقولون لله قل فأنى تسحرون بل أتيناهم بالحق وإنهم لكاذبون ما اتخذ الله من ولد وما كان معه من إله إذا لذهب كل إله بما خلق ولعلى بعضهم على بعض سبحان الله عما يصفون عالم الغيب والشهادة فتعالى عما يشركون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions after asking a number of probing questions to the Quraysh, to the disbelievers and the polytheists at the time as to who created things, etc., who has power over things, and who has the ability to protect, and then responding each time that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has that ability. It belongs completely to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then went on to present the proof for His oneness, right? His unity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what? مَا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ مِنْ وَلَدٍ وَمَا كَانَ مَعَهُ مِنْ إِلَهٍ إِذًا لَذَهَبَ كُلُّ إِلَهٍ بِمَا خَلَقَ. Allah says, Allah has not taken a son, nor are there any other deities with Him. Then, if there were, then every deity, every deity would have left with what it had created, and they would try to gain supremacy over each other. Subhanallah amma yasifun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is far above them, He is free of any deficiencies that they ascribe to Him. And I think last week we had a fresh air. Subhanallah amma yasifun. So when we discussed that verse last week, we mentioned how the verse, on one level, any simple person can understand it, but from that, deeper philosophical arguments were thrashed out for the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based on the idea of divine will and the necessity of that will being one, otherwise there would be chaos in the world. Allah goes on to give some of His qualities. عالم الغيب والشهادة. He is the one that knows the seen and the unseen. فتعالى عما يشركون. So exalted is He above that which they ascribe as partners to Him. Now, after mentioning His oneness in that verse there, مَا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ مِنْ وَلَدٍ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the very next verse speaks about another quality of His, and that is عَالِمُ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ, the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. Right? And again, I mention something that I say all the time. We understand from this, number one, that there is one will. There's one being who's worthy of worship, but there's also one will. And since this Quran is the revelation of that one will, it means that it will be effective. It will be effective. It's not as if somebody else or something else can come in the way of Allah fulfilling what He tells us in the Quran. Because there's no will that can compete with these. There's no irada or will that can compete with that of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But to believe that it actually will happen, in addition to knowing that there's one will, you need to know that that will is aware of everything, and it has ability to effect according to its knowledge. Right? To bring things into effect according to its knowledge. Therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the verse, just after speaking about His tawheed, about His oneness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about knowledge, His knowledge being all-encompassing, alimul ghaibi wa shahada. Something is either seen or unseen. So when Allah says alimul ghaibi wa shahada, it means He's an alim of everything. He knows everything. Right? But in mentioning al-ghaibi wa shahada, it emphasizes that to a greater degree. If Allah just said He knows everything, you may think to yourself that He knows, everything that is like that. Every known thing, or everything that I may have access to, or that can be known through vision and sight, whatever. No, Allah says He knows that which can be witnessed and that which cannot be witnessed. Right? So from amongst that, you see where that has a deeper implication is this, that in everything that humans do, there's an action, but there's a precursor to that action. That's your motive, the thing that drives you to it, your intention as well. So in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He's alimul ghaibi wa shahada. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He knows what manifests itself, but He also knows that which is hidden. If you just think about ourselves, for example, I pick up this chair. My intention in picking up this chair was to illustrate a point to you. It wasn't just to pick up the chair. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows shahada, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also knew what existed in my heart when I did that. So it's speaking about shumul, the encompassing nature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge. There isn't the thing that escapes the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if it may be things that our knowledge doesn't have access to. Right? And then after this, Allah goes to speak about Qudra. I always give a parable when I say this. You know this, the saying, it's like taking sweets from a baby. Because even if the baby sees you, he has knowledge of the fact that you're taking his sweets, he can't do anything about it because he doesn't have Qudra. Right? So you must have ilm and Qudra. And if you have Qudra and no ilm, then it's like stealing from somebody who doesn't know that you're the one that stole from them. They can't take you to task because they don't know it's you. So, to actually bring one's will into effect of reward or punishment, there has to be both ilm and there has to be qudra. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first asserts here that He has such ilm that encompasses everything, even those things which your knowledge doesn't have access to. And then Allah goes to speak about qudra. So what does Allah say? Qul, say O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Rabbi. Rabbi means, oh my Lord. Literally, or rather, can't translate literally. There's something omitted before and after. Ya at the beginning and a ya at the end. Ya Rabbi, oh my Lord. Imma turiyanni ma tu'adun. Imma here is actually in plus ma. It's two particles that have been assimilated into each other. In plus ma. The in is harfu shart, right? So it will translate as if. And the ma is za'idah. It's extra. So how do we understand it? Imma, if turiyanni. Turiyanni. The verb is turi. Turi. From ara, yuri. What does that mean? Not to see, that's ra'a, yara. That's on the fourth bar, to cause someone to see, to show. Ara, yuri, that's turi. But if it were just normal turi, then it should have been turini. Turini. But what's happening there is, because of the in that gets put into jazm. So now the only way to connect it is put that fatha. Imma turiyanni. Whether or if you show me ma yu'aduna, Ma, that's the maf'ul bihi. If you show me that which yu'aduna, wa'ada means to promise something. Wa'ida, yu'adu means to be promised. So if you show me that which yu'aduna, it's majhul, and you can see the fa'il is waw al-jama'a. If you show me that which they were promised. Then what is also like the jawab shart is actually left out. But Rasul says, oh Allah, we understand this as whether you show me their punishment or not. Whether what they have been promised is referring to the punishment. That's why Rasul doesn't say what we have been promised. He says what? They have been promised. And here I must highlight the word wa'ada ya'idu. Usually comes in two forms in the Quran, either as a wa'ad or a wa'id. A wa'ad usually refers to a promise of good. And a wa'id refers to a promise of some type of punishment or something, a threat. Right? A threat. So here when he attributes it to them, then we understand it to be the threat of punishment. Whether you show me what they have been promised, meaning of punishment, essentially what you understand from it doesn't matter. But what is important is Rabbi فَلَا تَجْعَلْنِي مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Rabbi, oh my Lord, فَلَا تَجْعَلْنِي. جَعَلَ يَجْعَلُ means to make. لَا تَجْعَلْ, do not make, that's a nahi. لَا تَجْعَلْني, do not make me فِي الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. في, well, this literally means in, but if you're in a people means you're amongst them. Do not make me amongst or with al-qawm, the people. What kind of people? Al-zalimin, the wrongdoing people. So what is, if you look at the beginning of these two Rabbis here, there's something else. What's just before it? Just before the first Rabbi. Qul. Qul is what kind of word? The Amr. Amr from who? From Allah to Rasulullah. So Allah is telling Rasulullah to address Allah. Allah is telling Rasulullah, O Muhammad, say. What must you, O Muhammad, say? Say, O my Lord. Sometimes Allah says say, and He tells Rasul something to tell the people. Qul, huwa Allahu ahad. So let's tell them, O Muhammad, He is Allah the one. Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. Yeah, Allah is telling Rasulullah to what to say to Allah. Allah is telling Rasulullah what to say to him. So Allah says, say, O Muhammad, O my Lord, whether you show me what they have been promised or not, Rabbi فَلَا تَجْعَلْنِي فِي الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. O my Lord, do not make me amongst the wrongdoing people. You would have thought, if we were making the dua of ourselves, we would have said what? Oh Allah, do not make me of those who are punished. Do not make me, because ma yu'adun is referring to the punishment. So Allah, whether you show me the punishment or not, don't make me of those that are punished. But that's not what Allah tells us to say. Allah tells Rasulullah to say, do not make me of the people who do such actions that make them liable for punishment. Because it's not the punishment at the end of the day that's the criterion. It's the fact that from the very onset you're supposed to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us, قل ربي إما تريني ما يوعدون ربي فلا تجعلني في القوم الظالمين. Do not put me or place me amongst the wrongdoing people from the very onset. Those people will become liable for punishment. Because you see, the punishment is out of your hands. It's not something that you have control over. But the actions that you do, that's what you have control over. Allah has given us choice. And choice is what makes us either liable for punishment or deserving of reward. But our choice is only limited to a certain sphere. That sphere is our voluntary actions. There's actions that we do that we don't have choice in. For example, whether you want to age or not. Whether you age or not. If people had a choice in relation to that, I'm sure we wouldn't see as many old people in the world. Right? You know, what happens with our cells, involuntary reactions to things. Those are actions that our bodies undertake, but we don't have choice in relation to. In fact, from the very beginning, whether we want to live or not. It's something that we're doing, but we don't really have choice in relation to. So for those things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't take us to task, Allah doesn't make us responsible for anything in relation to it. That's why if you do something in your sleep, or you do something in an unconscious state, there's no punishment for you in the akhirah. There's no punishment for you in the akhirah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only takes us to task. Allah only expects from us something in relation to our voluntary actions, those actions in which we have choice. Those actions in which we can exercise our choice. That's why if anything happens to you, such that you are not in control of things any longer, then you're not responsible in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is what? Oh Allah, don't make me amongst those people that do dhulm, because that dhulm comes on account of your volition, on account of your choice. Where the punishment or reward comes to, it's got nothing to do with your choice. Or not, it's not directly related to your choice. The only way it's connected to your choice is that Allah promises a reward for those people who choose good, and punishment for those people who persistently choose bad without making tawbah. But the direct thing that you have control over there is your action. Whether your action is a good action, whether your action is good or bad. Understand? So there's something profound in that dua. Don't focus on the outcomes. Just focus on what you have control over. And that's it. Life can be burdensome at times. Life can be very, very burdensome at times and difficult. But when we focus on the fact that my primary, in fact, my only responsibility is towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Listen what I'm saying. My only responsibility is towards Allah.
So wasn't that the same if we do something and we maybe forgot? I mean, we get something, we do something, but we forgot that we did it, or we forgot that we did it, but I forget something, like when I fasting, maybe when I eat and I didn't do it, on purpose, then it's all, you say it's the same?
Yes.
Or when I make a mistake as well, I didn't mean to do it. So that would be the same as what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Right?
In fiqh, there's details to how we deal with it. In fiqh, there's details to how we deal with it. For example, if I do something, if I destroy something, so I do an action that destroys something, but I do it without my own volition, then I won't be punished for it in the court of Allah, but I may have to pay that back to the person in his life. I won't be punished for it, but because I took somebody's right, they are deserving of getting their right back, so I must give it back to them, but I won't be punished for doing the action in the first place. I wouldn't have been sinful. But if it's something that you didn't do, then you're not accounted for it. Or if it's something that you did, like in relation to ibadah, then sometimes you won't be accounted for it, except in specific instances. For example, if I eat while I'm supposed to be fasting out of forgetfulness, then there's nothing wrong with it. I don't have to repeat the fast. Nor have I done something sinful. But for example, if I eat while making salah, then the fuqaha will say, no, your salah is broken, you must repeat the salah. But the reason for that is they say because salah has a hay'a mudhakkira. The nature of salah is something that has an intense focus. So if you forget while you're performing salah, then you actually haven't fulfilled what the purpose of that salah is to be intensely concentrated for that period of time. Whereas fasting doesn't have that same intense focus, rather it's something that happens over a span of time where your mind can be busy with many other things. So there's details to it in terms of fiqh. But in general, when you do something disconnected from your own choice, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't take you to task for it. There may be some worldly consequence in terms of paying back, etc., so that other people's rights are not taken, but in the court of Allah you won't be punished. Right? But back to the point that I was making, I was saying, when you realize that my only responsibility is towards Allah. Now when I say that, I don't mean that I can neglect my children and my family, etc. What I mean is, even my responsibility towards them is only what Allah expects from me. My responsibility towards my children is will only be rewarded for or punished for what Allah expects from me in relation to them. My child may want me to give him a nice cell phone. He may even expect it because all of his peers have it. But Allah doesn't expect me to give that to him. So if I don't do that, I don't give him fancy clothes or name brands or whatever it may be, my responsibility to him is actually only what Allah expects from me. Because it's primarily my responsibility towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when I realize that, and I realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only takes me to task for those things that are in my control, that's related to my choice, that is a very, very relieving understanding. That is a very, very relieving understanding in a world that burdens us with many things, that stresses us with many things, that requires from us to do things sometimes that's outside of our scope. If you go to work, your work don't care about your life, for the most part. They just care about how they can use you to maximize their profits, etc. But when I realize that, for example, when I don't fulfill something that they expect from me, but it was outside of my ability, I ask myself, am I guilty in the court of Allah? No, Allah only expects from me what I'm able to do. So I'm not guilty. Therefore, I don't feel bad about it. I was going to give you an example about something in my life, but I don't think it's a good example.
Choose an example.
No. I was going to say, for example, if I'm busy doing things that at the time I deem to be, of prime importance in relation to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects from me, and on account of that I'm completely depleted and then I sleep and I have no way of waking up, then I don't necessarily feel so bad because I thought to myself, you know what, when I'm asleep, if I had the ability to wake myself up, then I would have gotten up in the first place. Are you going to steal your wife's haq without choosing to do so?
No, you need to be awake at certain time.
Oh, okay. But then this didn't wake me up. A perfect example of this is Mullah Muhammad. I even myself as an example, but hey, Mullah Muhammad his life is replete with examples of it. One day he told me he was supposed to go to a talk. He said, I was in a misted talk with a clean conscience. So I thought to myself, what? I understand you're going to miss the talk, but I can do it with a clean conscience. Tell me no. See, there's certain hukuk that you have, you only have so much ability. And Allah only expects you to do what you're able to do. So, that's an important thing to understand. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قُلْ رَبِّ إِمَّا تُرِيَنِّي مَا يُوعَدُونَ رَبِّ فَلَا تَجْعَلْنِي فِي الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Oh Allah, do not make me of the people that do injustice, such that they are liable for the punishment that they are promised. Then Allah says, وَإِنَّا عَلَىٰ أَن نُرِيَكَ مَا نَعِدُهُمْ لَقَادِرُونَ. And here that qudra comes in again. وَإِنَّا, and certainly we, عَلَىٰ أَن نُرِيَكَ. عَلَىٰ أَن here just means to. Because it's actually that when you want to say I'm able to do something, then you say أَنَا قَادِرٌ عَلَيْهِ. I have power over it, I have ability over it. But here the qadir comes at the end of the verse, and the ala, which is the harf that's connected to the qadir, comes before. That's what I'm saying here. You're just going to understand it as two. So, وَإِنَّا عَلَىٰ أَن نُرِيَكَ. And certainly we, referring to Allah, عَلَىٰ أَن نُرِيَكَ. To. Nuri. Yuri again means to? To show. Nuri.
We show.
And certainly we are upon us showing you to that we show you ما نعدهم, what we have promised them. وعد يعد, to promise. The verb is na'idu, but you must remember the root letters are waw, ayn, dal. وَإِنَّا عَلَىٰ أَن نُرِيَكَ مَا نَعِدُهُمْ. The ma is the maf'ul of nuri. That we show you that which, it's the second maf'ul. The first maf'ul is we show you. Who are we going to show? And then what are we going to show you? So you just remember, if anything answers a question in a sentence, who the action is done to, or what the action is done to, then both of those will be maf'uls. And we are upon showing you that which we have promised them. لَقَادِرُونَ. La, that lam is for emphasis. قَادِرُون. It's the ismul fa'il, plural. قَادِر, قَادِرُونَ. It means to have ability, one that has ability. Okay? And it's plural here because it's referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who referred to himself with the real pronoun of na. Again, that na is not for plurality, but just to show majesty. وَإِنَّا عَلَىٰ أَن نُرِيَكَ مَا نَعِدُهُمْ لَقَادِرُونَ. And certainly we are most able to show you that which we have promised them. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying is, did Allah hasten the punishment of the Quraysh? No, He let them live. In fact, most of them became Muslim after Fathu Makkah, etc. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here? Allah is saying that Rasul says, whether you show me the punishment or not, or Allah just ensure that I'm not of those people who are liable for punishment. Then Allah says, certainly we are able to show you that punishment. Meaning, we are able to let the punishment happen in your lifetime. Allah saying He's able to do that, but out of His grace He delayed. That's understood. Out of His grace He delayed. But what's the implication of that? The implication of that is that if you are living like a zalim, then you should expect the punishment at any time. Because Allah is able to bring it at any time. Retrospectively, we can say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delayed it out of His grace upon them, but He could have punished them at any time. وَإِنَّا عَلَىٰ أَن نُرِيَكَ مَا نَعِدُهُمْ لَقَادِرُونَ. And then Allah says, إِدْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. إِدْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. دَفَعَ يَدْفَعُ means what? It means to repel something. To repel something, to push something back. Idfa is the amr. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying? Oh Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, idfa, repel. Push something away. Allah doesn't say, actually, the maf'ul, what it is that must be repelled, comes right at the end of the verse. Idfa billati hiya ahsanu sayyi'ah. So it's actually, put it on board. From billati hiya ahsan. That's like one phrase. Right? So it's the verb is actually telling you idfa as-sayyi'ah. Idfa as-sayyi'ah. Repel the sayyi'ah. Sayyi'ah means what? A bad action or harm. Right? Repel that which is evil and bad. Billati hiya ahsan. Using or with allati, that which hiya ahsanu, that which is better. Hasan means good. Ahsan means better. Actually, if it's different, then it's best. That which is better. But to say it is good, better, and best is an injustice to the word Hasan. Hasan means, and husn means beautiful, excellent and beautiful. Hasan means excellent and beautiful. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, repel that which is evil with that which is more beautiful. Which is more beautiful. And I'm saying so because this concept of ihsan is something that should shape our minds. The concept of ihsan is something that should shape how we are. And ihsan means, usually we translate it as excellence or something like that. I think we relate it to the hadith of Rasulullah, worship Allah as if you see Him, and if you don't see Him, then know that He sees you. So that's speaking about the state in which you're doing it. But what is the linguistic meaning of ihsan? The linguistic meaning of ihsan is to make something beautiful. To make something beautiful.
Is the maf'ul excellent or evil?
Excuse me?
Is it the ahsan or the sayya which are the maf'ul?
The maf'ul is a sayya. Repel the sayya. Push away the sayya. But what must you use to push away the sayya? You must use something which is better and more beautiful. So if somebody comes to you arguing with you in a very ugly way, you don't respond to him in kind, you respond to him in a beautiful way because you are muhsin. You are somebody who makes situations beautiful. You are a person who makes things beautiful. And that's actually the worldview that permeated throughout the Muslims in times of stability. You find them, you give them, again I was having a discussion with Muhammad on Friday night, and he gave me an example of Mauritania. He said in Mauritania, the things that people used to write with, initially they used to make themselves a living desert. But eventually when big pens came there, those cheap big pens, when they started getting big pens, they would take pieces of wire and add things to the top of it and make like a little shape on it, etc. Because they say that, this is ihsan. When we get anything, we make it more beautiful. Whatever it is, whether it's a situation, whether it's that's what it means to be a Muslim. Whatever it may be that you encounter, you make it more beautiful. If I come into a bad situation, then I try to make it more beautiful situation. If I come into an argument, I try to change that into a beautiful thing. When I get a physical thing, I try and make it more beautiful. When I have my house, I make it more beautiful. I'm not saying being extravagant or being materialistic. No. You don't have to be materialistic or extravagant to make things beautiful. You don't have to be extravagant or materialistic to make things beautiful. Making things beautiful can mean sweeping. It can mean wiping a wall. It can mean recycling to let there be less pollution in the world. It can mean so many other things, but that's what how we should be as Muslims. When we see sayyah, we remove that sayyah, but we remove that sayyah by bringing beauty. That's who we are. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala desires of us to be. Muhsinin. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِدْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ السَّيِّئَةِ. And the beautiful thing about it is, even in this verse, it's almost as if the sayyah is pushed right to the end of the verse. It's almost as if the sayyah is pushed right to the end of the verse. And the beauty is brought forward. إِدْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ السَّيِّئَةِ نَحْنُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا يَصِفُونَ. So, what is the sayyah that's being spoken about here? They are slandering Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is bringing them the message of belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are slandering him. Allah is telling Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in all of this slander of you and they harming you, whatever it may be, you respond with that which is more beautiful. Don't stoop to their level. But then Allah says, as for holding them accountable for the bad that they are doing, نحن أعلم بما يصفون. نحن. In fact, this is in relation to how they accuse Rasulullah of things and what they say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, نحن أعلم. We are أعلم. Alim means to know something. أعلم, to have more knowledge. We are more knowing, or we have more knowledge. بما يصفون, of that which the by there, I'm translating it as of. But you must know that the root letters Ain, Lam, Mim are generally just used with the harf B. أنا عالم بشيء, I know something. نحن أعلم بما يصفون, we are more knowledgeable of that which they describe or ascribe. And in relation to them belying Rasulullah, slandering him, etc. Allah says, we are more knowledgeable of that which they ascribe. Our time is up. We'll stop there for today, inshallah. Continue next week, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.